Class 3 Chapter 12, Introduction to Customer Behavioral Processes. Solomon Model of Comparison Process. Figure explains some of the issues that are addressed during each stage of the consumption process. The exchange, in which two or more organizations or people give and receive something of value, is an integral part of marketing. He also suggested that consumer behavior involves many different actors. The purchaser and user of a product might not be the same person. People may also act as influences on the buying processes. Organizations can also be involved in the buying process. Much of marketing activity, they suggest, concentrates on adapting product offerings to particular circumstances of target segment needs and wants. It is also common to stimulate an already existing want through advertising and sales promotion, rather than creating wants. The definitions and models, which have been presented so far, have been from general marketing theory. Tourism is, by its very nature, a service rather than a product, which may have a considerable effect on consumer behavior. Figure 5.0, Solomon's Model of the Comparison Process. Middleton, 1994, presented an adapted model of consumer behavior tourism, which was termed the stimulus response model of buyer behavior. The model is shown in Figure 2.8. This model is based on the four interactive components, with the central component identified as buyer characteristics and decision process. The model separates out motivators and determinants in consumer buying behavior and also emphasizes the important effects that an organization can have on the consumer buying process by the use of communication channels. Schmall, 1977, quoted in Cooper et al. 1993, developed a model which hypothesized that consumer decisions were a result of four elements as follows. I. Travel stimuli, including guidebooks, reports from other travelers and advertising and promotion. 2. Personal and social determinants of travel behavior, including motivators, desires and expectations. 3. External variables, including destination images, confidence in travel trade intermediaries and constraints such as cost and time. 4. Characteristics and features of the service destination, such as the perceived link between cost and value and the range of attractions and amenities offered. Figure 6.0, Stimulus Response Model of the Buying Process. The Method of Travel Buying Behavior. Matheson and Wall. Matheson and Wall, 1982, suggested a linear five-stage model of travel buying behavior, which is shown in Figure 7.0. Figure 7.0, Matheson and Wall's Model of Travel Buying Behavior. Model of Consumer Decision-Making Framework. Gilbert, 1991, suggested a model for consumer decision-making in which is shown in Figure 2.10. This model suggests that there are two levels of factors that have an effect on the consumer. The first level of influences is close to the person and includes psychological influence such as perception and learning. The second level of influences includes those, which have been developed during the socialization process and include reference groups and family influences. All these models that have been adapted for tourism offer some into the consumer behavior process involved during the post-purchase decision stages. Figure 8.0, Gilbert, 1991's Model of the Consumer Decision-Making Framework. Types of consumer buying behavior. Consumer buying behavior is based on the degree of buyer involvement and the degree of differences between or among brands. There are different types of consumer buying behavior. Complex buying behavior. Consumers undertake complex buying behavior when they are highly involved in a purchase and perceive significant difference among brands. Consumer may be highly involved when the product is expensive, risky, purchased infrequently and highly self-expressive. This buyer will pass through a learning process, first developing beliefs about the product, then attitudes, and then making a thoughtful purchase choice. Marketers of high-involvement products must understand the information gathering and evaluative behavior of high-involvement consumers. They need to help buyers learn about product class attributes and their relative importance. They need to differentiate their brand's features, perhaps by describing the brand's benefits using print media with long copy. Dissonance, reducing buying behavior. Dissonance-reducing buying behavior occurs when consumers are highly involved with an expensive, infrequent or risky purchase, but see the difference among brands. In this case, since perceived brand differences are not large, buyers may shop around to learn what is available, but buy relatively quickly. They may respond primarily to a good price or to purchase convenience. After the purchase, consumers might experience post-purchase dissonance, after-sale discomfort, when they notice certain disadvantages of the product. To counter such dissonance, the marketer's after-sale communication should provide evidence and support to help consumers feel good about their brand choices. Habitual buying behavior. Habitual buying behavior occurs under conditions of high consumer involvement and little significant brand difference. E.g., salt consumer have little involvement in this product category. In such cases, consumer behavior does not pass through the usual belief attitude behavior sequence. Consumer do not search extensively for information about the brands, evaluate brand characteristics, and make weighty decisions about which brands to buy. Instead, they passively receive information as they watch TV or read magazines, and repetition creates brand familiarity rather than brand conviction. Consumers do not form strong attitudes towards a brand, they select the brand because it is familiar. Marketer of low-involvement products with few brands differences often use price and sales promotion to stimulate product trial. Variety buying behavior. Consumers undertake variety-seeking buying behavior in situations characterized by low consumer involvement but significant perceived brand differences. In such cases, consumers often do a lot of brand switching.